Hello, everyone. Welcome to the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. It's the final round for 2018. We had 10 of them this year. It's the MotoAmerica Championship of Alabama at Barber Motorsports Park in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm Greg White. Sitting alongside me is Jason Pridmore, two-time FIM World Endurance Champion and all-star coach. What good way to put it?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm lucky enough to work with a lot of talented kids and a lot of talented people. So
blah, 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 blah. But it is a warm and steamy and humid day here in the southeast in Alabama, as we are pretty deep into September already. But this is kind of the way it's been in the south, and they expect cooler temperatures to roll in when we're gone. Let's take a look at Barber Motorsports Park, built in 2003, 2.38 miles of up and down fun.
Not too many places we go more beautiful than old Barber Motorsports Park. Down into turn one there, little come up over the top of a rise, turn 2 and 3. Very undulating, going down up over turn 4, flat out on these little bikes especially. You're going to be flat out down into turn 5, where we're going to see a lot of our action down in Charlotte's Web 5, 6, 7 area. Through turn 8 over to Museum Turn 9, 10 and 11 will be a spot where you'll be able to see people, a couple little different lines through there. You'll see people pull up on each other as they go down into turn 12, 13, and then 14, 15, 16, a series of long rights where the bike never really gets back upright before we switch it back to the left for turn 17 and onto this front straightaway. It's an interesting place, Greg. Constructed in 2003. And it's a great spectator track. As you can see, some of our fans here in the woods on the back straightaway.
Welcome to the first race series of the weekend. It's Saturday. The Moly Junior Cup race is coming up here, and Moly Junior Cup has been absolutely spectacular this year, as our qualifying today was set with Alex Duma on pole position, JP at a 138.712.
Yep, Ashton Yates is just right behind him. Then we have Jackson Blackman, row 2, Corey Ventura, Gavin Anthony, Jay Newton. What a stacked first 2 rows that we have there, Greg. All these guys are going to be in that big lead draft, I feel. Joe Blasius, Renzo Ferreira, Damian Jigloff start on row 3. Kevin Almeida, who we've seen run up front and win races. Jamie Astudillo and Toby Kamsuk outside of row 4. Back onto row 5, we've got Gage Reese, Dominic Doyle, and Hunter Dunham, and Trevor Standish, Mark Edwards, Dallas Daniels. Good to see him around back there in row 6. Big field here, Greg. Tyler Whistle, Dylan Deutschlander, Ryan Deutschlander, two brothers sitting on row 7. Then we got Nate Minster, Teague Hobbs, and Jarrett Nassani on row 8. Row 9, Sean Varsky, Isaiah Burleson, and Kevin Nolde will round out our field.
Now, Jay, you talked about a large field today. 27 riders competing now. Total for 2018, 41 riders have competed in the Moly Junior Cup class, all back and forth across the United States. We've had 6 different winners and 14 different riders stand on the podium during the course of the year. That is the largest amount that we have in the entire class, or entire program for MotoAmerica. Just showcasing how competitive the Moly Junior Cup class really is.
Yes, MotoAmerica has done a great job with trying to get the rules in line to where we have good, safe, competitive, fast racing. This race is fun for me because we get to see some young talent come up, and it's also a little nerve-wracking because they're all so close, and they're all fighting for that same little piece of pavement. So the racing's been tremendous. Like you said, Greg, 6 different winners. This guy on our screen having won a few of those as well. Ashton Yates, actually looking on the front row right now. The only guy that hasn't won, Jackson, and Jackson's been up at the front at times this year. This weekend he looks especially tough. He was second in both our sessions yesterday. You get a good look at the number 18 there on the front row. So good to see Jackson with a great qualifying session. Let's see if he can turn that into a race win today, possibly.
Jackson Blackman, the number 18, like Jason pointed out, it wasn't until our 10th race of the year, which was the first round in Sonoma, where Jackson put it on a podium, got a 3rd place finish, and so far for Blackman, only 2 podiums. We thought Jackson at the beginning of the season was definitely a title contender, but it hasn't quite worked out. But he's been working on his riding, and he feels a lot stronger. And when I talked to him yesterday, he just had that swagger, like everything's dialed in this weekend. I back up front where I belong. And he was able to pull it off in qualifying, and he'll sit 3rd on the grid.
And having confidence is a great thing. And last year, Jackson came into our series after breaking his arm. He missed a couple of rounds and then came back at VIR, if I remember correctly, Greg, and won straight off the bat. And I really feel like the standard that he was setting for himself was to be able to go on and dominate some of these things. And then this year, the Yamaha at the beginning of the season wasn't really the bike to at the start of the year that it is now. They've adjusted some of the rules to get the Yamahas more competitive with the Cowie and the KTM. And now we've seen a lot of guys on the R3 step up, and Jackson's just one of the many guys that have done that, along with Jake Newton and Gavin Anthony, Corey Ventura. These guys are people that we've seen do that, as well as, you know, in Jersey when the whole team was on the podium together, and the Monkey Moto guys all on R3. So they've done a good job of getting this field tighter together, closer together.
For sure, one of the people you need to look for on back on row number 4 is going to be the number 49 of Jamie Astudillo. You know, if we had a hard Charger award, I think, you know, Jamie would probably be in contention for it, because as of late, she hasn't qualified that well. But man, when it comes to race time, she's able to charge through the field, which really plays to, Jason, the question of importance of a start here. Yeah, as we look at the championship standings, your national champion, wrapped up last time we were racing, is Alex Duma. So you're only 50 points available here, but so there still could be a little change in terms of 2nd and 3rd and 4th place.
Correct.
But that rider right there is your national champion out of Canada, Alex Duma.
Jane Newton, who comes from the outside of our 2nd row, still has an opportunity to finish 2nd in the championship. Ashton has that honor right this second. But getting back to the Jamie Astudillo story that you said, she started a little bit further back in Jersey and just kept making her way forward. Like, she got better as the race was going. Today, she's only on row 4, so if she can get off to a quick start and kind of get on the back end of that lead group, expect her to do well as well. She was 40 flat this morning, so yeah, keep an eye on her.
Start can be critical in the Liqui Junior Cup race, especially here in Alabama. All right, so here we go. Visors down, revs are up, lights on, and we're off and racing.
Great start from Duma and Jackson Blackman. You can see Ashton didn't get off the line bad. He's going to have to deal with Corey Ventura going by him as they head down into turn 1. So right now it's going to be Alex and then the 2 Yamahas. Now, when we started looking at the breakdown in the sectors here, Ashton and some of the other guys had a big advantage there just by looking at the sectors in sector 3 and 4. So don't let Alex jumping out to this little quick early gap here. He's pretty good through the first 2 sectors, then he seems to lose a little bit in sector 4. So that's what we're going to look for as they head down into turn 5 for the first lap. Oh, and there you go, Greg. Jackson Blackman down in turn 5. Air suit is on, but he just lost the front going in there.
So the Riders Law Racing Yamaha R3 entry out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Jackson Blackman crashing this one. He's up and he's got to try to remount. All right, so now we're getting to that part of the sectors, Jason, that you're talking about. Heading to sector number 4, where Alex has been struggling, if you can call it that, but we'll see if...
but he's really been trying to get it worked out.
Who's
really
in third?
That's Ashton Yates.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, Ashton's in 3rd right now, so he's got off to a good start. And this is where these 2 guys, Ashton, Corey, Jane Newton, were all a bit faster in this little sector. It's only a small one. You can see Jackson walking off. Feel bad for him.
Didn't get it going.
Yeah, couldn't get the bike going. But look at Ashton Yates has gone past. This is where,
no!
Ashton's down. I was just going to
Oh!
say, this is where he's been incredibly fast, Greg. But, man, he held that front on for so long. But, you know, the thing is he hit that curbing with his body. He just looks like he's in a little bit of pain right now.
That might have been a knee or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
he smacked that curb.
Man, he had the front end gone for
was
so long, like Marquez style almost, if you will.
He was so trying to save it. Just trying. Back up front, Alex Duma leads the way the first lap in the books at a 142.2, and then it's got to be Corey Ventura, Jay Newton, Renzo Ferreira, Damien Jiggleoff in 5th spot.
Yep, good start for Damien. There's Jamie Astudillo, and right off the bat, Greg, she's up to 7th. She's got a little bit of a gap to make up to the people in front of her. And right now, Ashton Yates is down still on the outside of, what is that, Greg, turn 13. He's conscious and everything, which is good to see. So these 2 guys in the Yamaha, Corey Ventura and Jay Newton, have got a little bit of work to do to try to catch back up to that gap that Alex has already opened up on the opening lap. He was almost a half a second quicker. And these guys all got balked just a little bit. There's the red flag. The red flag is out. That's going to probably be for Ashton. Outside of turn 13, you can see they've gone in. They've parked a car just down the outside, so they've had to just. MotoAmerica's made a good decision to just get this race red flagged. And there's Ashton getting up.
We can see on our monitor that Ashton is sitting up. There he is. So it looks like Yates took a bit of a hit on that one. I mean, he tried to save it for a mile.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I mean, he had the front
we could see it.
So
front
long.
was gone. It was on the edge of the bike. His knee was kind of trapped. You know, when you just know when riders are trying to save it, just waiting for that traction to try to regrip itself.
If Jackson can somehow get to his bike, or they can get that bike back over to the pits, Jackson might be able to get to restart. He was not the one that caused the red flag, so we'll see how that works out. But here you go. Ashton comes down into this turn 13 area, and he loses the front right now, and it's gone, and it's waiting, and you can see he just, Greg, what happened is it looked like he went over the curbing, and then his body dug into the mud, almost looked like, or the dirt, and very awkward tumble there for Ashton. So it looks like he's up. over there now, just from our isolated screen that we can see. We can see the red flag has been put out. And Ashton is up walking around.
So unfortunately for Ashton Yates, takes a big tumble, and he's going to have to go medical. And I'm just trying to see if...
Just hold on to his arm a little bit, right arm. But it looks like...
oh, looks like left arm,
left.
maybe?
It's funny, you fall to the right, and you always end up hurting the opposite side of your body. I've never really been able to figure that one out. But yeah, it looks like he's just kind of... Left arm's a little sore. And his right leg kind of just dug into the ground, and it caused him to tumble in an awkward manner. So, but boy, he tried to save that for a long time, didn't he?
He sure did. Well, that video is going to play on social media for a long time, I think.
Yeah.
So Ashton Yates, of course, son of famed superbike pilot, race winner Aaron Yates, one of our most exciting superbike racers, I think. You know, in definitely in the '90s, the 2000s, 2010s. There's Aaron right there.
The only thing that was better than watching Aaron ride from the side of the track was being on it with him and seeing some of the things he did. I used to follow him and think to myself, I can't do that. It's just he would just be able to do things on a motorcycle that were incredible. And his son rides a lot like he does, like he did.
You know, elbow dragging is a big thing, right? But do you remember when Aaron started dragging elbow way back in the day?
Yeah, I remember the high curbings at Mid-Ohio.
Mid-Ohio.
There was always famous pictures of Aaron on the curbings.
Long before they put like sliders on the elbows now. You know, there's a good look at our championship winner, Alex Duma, who's going to get a little bit of a drink. They've rolled the ambulances out to take a look at Ashton Yates, so they're going to head out there.
Not sure if he's actually in it.
If he's out there, yeah, he might have gotten in the truck.
And I saw them getting Jackson's bike on the back of a trailer. There it is. Oh, that's Ashton's. Okay, yeah. And I did see Jackson's bike get picked up as well. So I'm sure the Riders Law guys are probably itching to get that bike back and see if there's anything that they can replace on it to get him back into the race.
So under red flag conditions, number 22, Ashton Yates, on the Yates Racing Ninja 400 out of Milledgeville, Georgia, crashed and was on the side of the racetrack, and it looked like he was hurting for a while, so they red flagged it. And it looks like we're going to do a quick restart procedure, and according to my timing and scoring screen, it looks like we're going to reduce this 11-lap event to 7 laps to go.
So here you go, Greg. It was a great start from Alex on the front row, and Jackson as well. Corey Ventura did well to get off on that second row like he did. And as they went into turn one, that little first sector there, first two segments, Alex was able just to open up a bit of a gap. And you can see Ashton, he got in his tuck as quickly as he could. He struggled earlier in the year getting that Kawasaki off the line, but he seemed to have really got that figured out. You can see some of the battling going on a little bit further back.
And part of that Kawasaki woes of getting that bike off the line.
And here we go. Jackson looks really comfortable just going in and just tucks the front. The front just kind of goes. So, yeah, and I mean, it happens so quickly. It makes you definitely think that he's still just tugging on the brake, but it didn't look like he was in any deeper than anybody else. And the bike just ended up breaking. So I'm looking to see if that right clip-on was broke. No, it doesn't look like it was, but it's bent pretty. See how bent it is, Greg, that clip-on. And then, of course, the big exciting one, Ashton just loses the front. And watch how he digs in, Greg. See that?
Yeah.
Just digs in, and you can see the amount of turf he pulled up with his body. So exciting first lap here. More exciting than we want to see. We don't want to see these guys falling over.
His neck is going to be sore.
Yeah, he's going to.
That head really tucked underneath his body there.
Yep.
You can see Ashton was in a lot of pain, as he should have been, taking that big hit and digging into this mud here in Alabama. So we will have a restart of this race. 7 laps to go.
First lap.
And my guess is we're going to have probably the same starting grid. Pit lane opens in 4 minutes.
See Alex having a talk with his teammate Sean Varsky down there.
Yep.
And you know, Greg, you mentioned the heat. I know it's warm, trust me, but I remember years when we've raced here in the past over the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years even, where it's been quite a bit hotter than this. And you've brought it up earlier. This cloud cover that we have is definitely welcomed, and but the times are still very fast. So I don't think it's as hot as we've seen it, obviously, in the past, because the lap times on all our classes across the board, we saw a brand new lap record today in our Superbike division, and so the track itself is holding up really well. And I think it is a little bit cooler, a little bit nicer than it's been in the past here.
All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll come back when we're getting ready to get this one started for you. All right, so we're back. If you've just joined us on our beIN Sports Connect coverage of the Liqui Moly Junior Cup race here at the Championship of Alabama in Birmingham at Barber Motorsports Park. We were just under red flag conditions, and pit lane opened up, and now riders are on their sighting lap. This will be a quick start procedure.
Yep, so what they'll do is they'll come around. They'll have one member from each of the riders' teams just out there just to kind of spot them, get them in the right grid spots. And I'm looking just below our commentating booth here, and I can see that the Riders Law guys are definitely trying to get Jackson's bike back together for him. So they're working a little bit frantically.
Jackson Blackman, number 18, crashed on the opening lap, heading down into turn number 5, called Charlotte's Web. And they're trying to get that bike up and going again, and at least Jackson might have an opportunity to get some laps and get some valuable data, although we've gone from 11 to 7 in this one because of the red flag conditions. Alex Duma will still be on pole. Ashton Yates, we don't expect to restart this race. So there should be an open spot on the front row, and then Jackson Blackman. So really, it looks like Alex Duma at this point is going to have the front row all to himself. But that's also going to give an opportunity for the second row, like Gavin Anthony and Jay Newton, to get better starts. They don't have to worry about anyone in front of them.
Good jumps there. They won't have to worry about anybody in front of them, like you say, Greg. So that's, you know, it's going to be an interesting looking grid for sure. Remember when, I think it was Argentina this year, when Jack Miller was up on the front row by himself.
Yeah.
That crazy race in Argentina. And it was weird seeing nobody else next to him. But as it turns out here, it's quicker and easier for everybody to just kind of go back to the original grid spots, because we didn't get a full lap, so you can't really move the grid around too much. So just a unique situation.
So this quick start procedure, you have basically one crew member that's on the grid, just, you know, if there's anything going on. And so they're going to just let them sit there for a moment just so they understand where their grid position is one more time. And then they're going to release them. It'll be a warm-up lap, and then we'll go racing once again. So the first of our races at Barber Motorsports Park coming at you, Liqui Moly Junior Cup race number 1. We have the same program going on tomorrow. Then we're going to have Super Sport Race 1, followed by Motul Superbike Class. Our coverage will begin later on in the day on the linear network.
Must be nice for Corey Ventura to come around and see 4-time Superbike champion standing on your grid, right on your grid spot.
You think so?
Josh Hayes sitting out there doing a little bit of work with the Melissa Paris bike down there that Corey's on.
Josh Hayes, who's been here all season after his retirement, I guess, from racing. But Josh Hayes will get an opportunity to be back on a motorcycle on Tuesday. There's going to be a Dunlop tire test right here at Barber Motorsports Park, and the Yamalup Westby racing team has built a motorcycle for Josh Hayes to test some tires on. What does that mean for the future of Josh Hayes fans? We don't know, other than he'll ride Tuesday.
I never really remember Josh saying he's retired. Have you?
No, he was always available if there was something that ever happened, you know, to
somewhat
Cameron.
of a forced retirement, maybe.
If there's anything that happened to Cameron Bovier or to Garrett Earloff during the course of the season, Josh was at the ready. So he was training and doing everything he normally would do to be race fit, but that opportunity never came. And
suits and boots will travel. And
you know, being friends with Josh, as we've been friends with him, it's definitely difficult at times.
Great to see
watching Josh like just dying to be back on a motorcycle.
He is. And I see Riders Law guys did a tremendous job getting that bike back on the grid for Jackson Blackman. I see Jackson at the tail end of our field right now, so he's at least going to get to go out and do a sighting, a warm-up lap here, and make sure everything's tight, make sure everything's good. But Jackson, we're gonna watch him. We're gonna look to see where they grid him. Not sure where they're going to grid Jackson yet. He was not the cause of the red flag, but he definitely gets to take advantage of the situation there. So, you know, we might see him just get to grid back up on the front row, Greg, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Warm up lap number 2 for race number 1 of the Liqui Moly Junior Cup class. So it's Alex Duma who will be on pole. We know that much anyway. And you can see some of these riders, Jason, they're really getting after it, getting the heat in the tire. You would think naturally, oh, it's such a warm day. Do you really need to be that aggressive with it? But you really do. I mean, you got to make sure these things are warmed up and ready to roll.
It's always nice coming to the line knowing that you've got plenty of heat in your tire. And a warm-up lap is probably one of the most important laps that you can do all weekend, because it's going to give you the confidence to come to the grid ready, prepared. Your tires are going to be warm, and your bike's going to be ready to go. So, but you know, on a day like today, it's pretty hot. Tires are going to be ready to rip anyways. after one even just decent lap around here. So, so I'm looking at the back and seeing. It looks like Greg. We got maybe Jackson. Looks like he's
here
lining
he
up
comes.
in the back, isn't he?
Yeah,
there
he sure is.
So we're gonna keep an eye on that.
Down. It might be a lap down.
I don't think so because they didn't. They barely completed one lap. We'll see it because it's a full race restart, isn't it? So he crashed on the same lap as Ashton, and we're gonna keep an eye on that and see how far he can get through this field.
7 laps in the Liqui Moly Junior Cup race number 1. It's our start number 2 with an empty front row except Alex Duma. The lights are off.
Corey Ventura with a good start.
With a great start.
Yep, great start from second. And he's going to try to just get on the back as quickly as he can. A lot of moving to Jocelyn going on behind, but
a little bit of bumping and grinding.
Yep. You can see Corey's trying to go off with Alex in this first this first third of a lap, anyways. You can see the gap that he kind of opens up in the first little third. Looks like Renzo Ferreira has got himself up into 4th right now, trying to make a move going down into turn 5 for 3rd. Looks like Gavin Anthony's underneath a couple of guys too. I believe it's Joe Blasius, Jay Newton as well.
There, yeah.
Is that Jay Newton there, Greg? And I believe it's 4th, isn't it? So yeah, Jay Newton's 4th. Everybody's got through turn 5 clean.
All right, so number 23 is Alex Duma. Number 64 is Corey Ventura. So Corey definitely has halved the initial gap that Alex had in the first start.
Yep, and then this is where these guys have been able to close up. When they go into this next little kink left, and they go back to the right, they've been able to close up a little bit on Alex in through here.
Transition section of the racetrack. There's 24. That's Joe Blasius on that Toon Racing machine.
I believe Joe had a little incident yesterday as well. And so look at Damian Jigalov. He's trying to go by Gavin Anthony. These two are going to get really close.
Gavin's having none of that.
None of it. Down into turn 13. And that's going to cost Damian a little bit as Blasius now is able to take advantage of the momentum that Damian actually lost in that little sector. But see how they've closed back up on the back of Alex now as they come through. So the fast sector of the track, they've been able to close up now. Come down this front straightaway and we go through the first 2 little sectors here. And we'll see if they're able to kind of keep it close.
First time by the stripe, the gap just 0.4 of a second. So Ventura able to close up on the back of Alex Duma, except coming out of the final corner. Alex had a little something for him. I can tell you, Jace, talking to Corey Ventura yesterday, he said, I'm not a happy man with the way I rode after the first session. So he and the MP13 team put their head down, got some things figured out gearing-wise, and with the setup of this motorcycle, and Ventura looking a lot more comfortable than he did when we rolled it off the truck Friday morning.
Definitely. Alex's bike a little bit out of shape as he tips it into turn 5 and exits out of there. You can see there's our battle for 3rd with Renzo. And we got Jane Newton there, Gavin Anthony. Who else? We got Kevin Knoll has crashed in turn 1. I saw some yellow flags out to at our booth here. So Kevin's up and walking away, which is good.
So the KK47 Racing, K&J Racing Solutions rider is out of this one. To the front, and Duma getting into the tuck as quickly as possible. His Liqui Moly Junior Cup bikes. That was a tremendous amount of horsepower, and he's really lost that gap as number 64, Corey Ventura, is on it right now. I think, Jason, if you're Corey, you've got to think about getting as close as you can, and he's got to pass. He's got to pass Alex and put him behind him if he wants to try to control the pace.
No, that's exactly right, but right now these two guys have broke away just a little bit. The neat thing about Corey is he rides a lot more like a veteran rider than his age. He's very smart. He understands things that are going on. And, if he starts to see +1s on his board, +2s on his board, if they can get away, he realizes that he's got 5 more laps to try to figure out what he wants to do with Alex. But the more they kind of mess around with each other right this second, the better chance they're going to bring more people into play. So Corey's the kind of kid, I believe, that's pretty smart. He's going to be looking at the board that Melissa's putting out, seeing where he's at. But right now, looking at the times, 39.7. So they're about a second off. 39.3 for Damian Jigalov back there, who's now coming through. We saw him earlier on. He got back past Joe Blasius. But right now, they're still a little bit off the times that they qualified at this morning. But keep an eye back there on number 78. You can see him right here on the back end of this group now, and he's going to try to get in the draft of Gavin Anthony.
Gavin Anthony is number 76. Saw the back of his leathers, the kid. So it's Alex Duma, Corey Ventura, Renzo Ferreira, number 31, Jay Newton, Gavin Anthony, Damian Jigalov, Joe Blasius, Kevin Olmedo, Jamie Ospedillo, and Toby Kamsuk, the top 10.
They are all starting to close back up. These guys aren't messing with each other too much back here. They're all trying to close that thing back up. Blasius and Almeida right now are trying to claw their way back up to this group. But these guys, if they don't mess with each other and they can kind of draft and redraft each other down some of these smaller straightaways, they will get back on the back end of the group real quick. Of the lead 2, that is. This is where Alex and Corey also seem to pull away just a little bit. You can see the different lines there. Corey's a lot tighter going up that hill, isn't he?
And with that shot, it looks like Corey might be trying to make an aggressive pass, but it's just that 1 or 2 bike lengths he's behind him. But it's coming onto this front straightaway here. If this was rehearsal for that final lap of the race, Alex Duma, even if he's in second spot, might have something for Corey Ventura. He's got a great roll speed, great corner speed through the final corner, and a good drive onto the front straightaway. And you can see what kind of gap it produces as they head down into out of turn number 2 and into turn number 3. We don't show that elevation great on this 2-dimensional television screen, but it is spectacular if you come here to Barber Motorsports Park to see the elevation change down and up the hill.
Yep, and here we go now. A little bit bigger of a gap in this first sector, this first little split. You can see Gavin Anthony still trying to work his way through, and Damian hasn't been able to do anything with this group. He might get a double draft here down that back straightaway. Damian's one of our smaller guys. You can see him off to the left there. Bike number 78. Looks like now he's trying to move up a spot. Does he get both of them, Greg, or just the one? He looks like he's going to get by. Gets by Gavin Anthony. Puts himself in between Gavin Anthony there and Jane Newton. So Damian has moved up again.
Through the museum corner, and you can see that's just part of the line of this racetrack, which is just jumping that curb. And it's really just a rhythm of being able to get that motorcycle settled by the time you want to get on the brakes.
He might be able to do something with Jay as they go down into turn 13. He's in the draft. He's pulled out to the left of him as they go down in here, and he's going to do it. He's going to get past.
Beautiful.
Saw him try to do that with Gavin earlier, so he's into turn 13. Damian Jiglov on the move up to 4th spot now.
It was an impressive pass, Jay, because he was able to keep his speed up, and with that pass, he even got a couple extra bike lengths in there for a bit of a cushion for the moment.
Next guy on his list is going to be Renzo, just in front of him. And he went fastest. Actually, yeah, Damian went fastest 4th split of the race. Look, he's in the draft for Renzo Ferreira now, and he's going to go by him as they go into turn 1. So right now, Damian Jiglov is got by 3 guys on this lap, runs a 39.2 that time pass. We know he's got the fastest lap of the race. So he's moving forward, and now he's got these other 2 guys in his sights. He's going to see if he can do anything with them. Just looking at it, 16.8. He's just done the first split of the race. So he's coming forward.
139.2. And Damian Jiglov, the young rider out of Illinois, moving forward in a hurry. And we didn't get to see Damian until what? Almost past halfway through the season because of his age, right?
It was just before, I think he came to the round just before Sonoma. I think it was at Utah was the first time we saw him. He's been racing over in the Italian championships for the last couple of years. Yeah, probably our youngest competitor right now. But he's got a lot of experience, which is definitely showing through as he moves through this field quickly.
At the moment, it looks like your national champion, Alex Duma, the first of the Liqui Moly Junior Cup national champions, is starting to pull a gap.
Just a little one.
Pull away from Corey Ventura, and Ventura's going to fall under.
Oh, no! Man, Damian's gone down. Look how good. That's experience, folks. He had his hands tucked in right away. We knew he was pushing. He just lost the front in turn 13. That's going to be such a bummer for him. But he's up. He's okay. But did you see how quick he got his hands on his chest?
He tucked right in.
He knew the second he let go of that bike, he had himself tucked in to where he wasn't going to get injured. That's pretty cagey right there.
That was really
just
good, actually, yeah.
And you know, these are the kind of things that happen when you're coming up through the ranks and you're learning and you see that first win right in front of you, but he just goes down pushing hard into turn 13. Here you go, Greg. It's going to be very much like we saw with Ashton. He just loses the front. Just look at him getting tucked in.
It's actually really impressive.
Pretty impressive. Yeah, I mean,
you don't want to get your body so rigid
fall
necessarily, because that can actually cause some soft tissue damage, but the way he was able to get those arms and fingers in, he prevented any,
Oh, wow. These guys are going at it. Jay, you got Aguilar, you got Newton, and you got Renzo Ferreira all battling as they go down into turn 5. And saw Jay Newton give a little tap of the back of his bike to Gavin Anthony. Now, this battle for third is going to start raging between these guys. I don't think, what do they got, like a lap and a half left, Greg? It'll be hard for them to close that gap down to Corey.
especially when they're messing with each other.
Yeah, for sure. And right now, Alex has just put his head down. He's done 2 really good first sectors. None of them are green, but he's just been able to eke out that gap to a little, 1 second the last time by. But he's just gained basically another 4/10, almost half second. Gavin Anthony goes underneath Jay Newton as they go down into 13. Kind of a little problem spot. We've seen 24 has gone down from what we understand.
Joe Blasius down and out on this one. So that rider had a good start. He's out. But this final battle, or this battle for the final spot on the rostrum, at this point, going after it is number 76, Gavin Anthony, 98, Jay Newton, and number 31, Renzo Ferreira, who looked like he had third comfortably. These guys are going at it tooth and nail on this final lap. Oh, they are so close.
Man.
They might have touched.
We got a red flag, Greg.
Oh, red flag conditions.
And there it is,
out.
Jamie Astudillo. We're just looking to see where that is.
So what we see is what we're being told is
museum
that
corner.
What we're told is Jamie Astudillo is down, and there is the crash. Astudillo, who was up into 8th spot from 11th on the grid. That's the museum corner.
Looks like museum corner. So
yeah, turn number 9
just coming out of there.
That's a weird place to crash. So
especially on one of these little bikes, you don't normally see somebody high side out of there, but that's kind of the general type of incident that we see. So
what we do know is that we're going to. What we do know is that Alex Duma is going to be the winner of this race because they're going to call it. Corey Ventura is going to be second. We revert back to the last lap everyone completed, and so Renzo Ferreira will stand on the podium, even though Jay Newton and Gavin Anthony had gotten around him. So it's Duma, Ventura, and Ferreira. That'll be your 1, 2, 3 finishers. Jay Newton in 4th, Gavin Anthony in 5th. We'll have to see how this all gets sorted out because Joe Blasius is on our screens listed in 6th place, but he ended up crashing. And then you have Almeida, Jamie Astudillo in 8th, and Toby Kamsuk. So we do know that it should be those top 3. We'll be heading to victory lane. Victory circle will be Duma once again. Another victory for the Canadian. The KTM Orange Brigade JP43 training racer will notch his 9th win of the season. And even though he's already the national champion, he will further extend his lead over his competitors.
Just looking back, Jackson Blackman, there he is on the left-hand side of our screen. He was able to get himself clawed all the way back up to 10th spot. So good job by that team getting him back out there. And hopefully Jackson can do a little bit better tomorrow and get up in that lead group like we know he's capable of.
So for Alex Duma, as crazy as it sounds, he was actually on a 2-race win drought.
And yesterday he was 4th, Greg, and the thing is about that team, he's able to get together and he's got Uli down there, he's got Hugo down there, and they come up with really smart plans all the time of what they can try to do to get better. And very rarely has Alex been 4th or 5th in sessions, but this weekend he struggled a little bit. And then this morning they did some gearing changes, they made a couple little chassis adjustments, and all of a sudden he was able to kind of get back on that pace that he was missing a little bit yesterday. And there was really just one segment that he was struggling in, and some of the changes that they made him more comfortable there.
Looking at the future of Alex Duma, Jason, as well as Corey Ventura. There's Jamie Astudillo, so she's up, and they're gonna.
I'm happy to see that.
It kind of looked like
hip or leg.
Hip
maybe?
or leg. I think some a possible lower body injury because you can see she's obviously looking like she's okay in the upper body portion. But Jay, going back to some of the rules that MotoAmerica has in place for the Liqui Junior Cup, it looks like Alex Duma and Corey Ventura, if I understand this correctly, because of their finishing positions in the championship this year and last year, is they're not eligible to ride in the Liqui Junior Cup class next year. Is that what you're seeing?
Well, you're telling me something I didn't know. So, yeah, I can't honestly say that I'm not exactly sure on the policies as far as where they're going to go. I know Alex from here, I know he's heading over to France on Tuesday to go race in the 300 World Supersport Championship, an opportunity that KTM provided him after winning the championship here last 2 weeks ago in Jersey. So he's going to be heading over to Magny-Cours. And in the past, like last year, we had Benjamin Smith, we had Jackson Blackman and Corey Ventura, Alex. They all got to go race over in Jerez in the 390 Cup Championship, all on KTMs. But now our rules are very mirrored to the rules that are over in World Supersport. And so that's where Alex will be next weekend. And what that might provide or turn into for him, we're not sure yet.
Well, I do know from reading the rule book that it basically says that if you finish top 5 in the championship point standings 2 years in a row, that you point out of the series. The question is, does Alex feel like he's ready for a 600? Is there a 600 ride available? Same with, Corey Ventura. Is he ready to really jump out of the Liqui Moly Junior Cup class and advance? So let's see how that all plays out in terms of what the future is for these riders. And of course, that's the idea. You don't want people, what we call sandbagging, who are capable of winning races and championships, just stick around here and just collect paychecks or collect championships. So the whole idea is, the way MotoAmerica is designed is to have the Liqui Moly Junior Cup, advance people into the Super Sport class, advance people into the Motul Superbike class.
No, and that's what, when you look at kind of what MotoAmerica guys all wanted to have happen when they started and they got involved when Wayne Rainey and Chuck Askin and all them got involved, it was to mature our riders enough to get them to get some of our kids on the world stage and on the world level. If you put Corey or Alex or Lot, probably the first 2 rows of this grid, you've already seen Ashton Yates ride a 600 to a podium finish this year. He's been riding in both classes. That was the goal of this thing, to get these kids moved along.
There's a look at number 39.
That Kevin that fell off in turn 1.
Yeah, I was looking to see where he turned off. Yeah, that's Kevin Nold. You can see we saw him off the bike earlier on that KK47 Racing, KNJ Racing Solutions Yamaha.
Just a little bit of a used R3 there in turn 1.
A little bit.
So I'm just happy to see him up and okay.
Hopefully he's going to be able to get that bike back into shape for tomorrow. Well, our race results, looks like it's going to be Alex Duma, Corey Ventura, and Renzo Ferreira. Jay Newton and Gavin Anthony will be your top 5 in this one. Kevin Olmedo, Toby Kamsuk, Jackson Blackman, Hunter Dunham, and Mark Edwards, your top 10.
Yeah, so Jackson actually got to move all the way up to 8th, and he did that in 5 laps. Imagine if he could have been at the front with those guys.